She's the baby of the baby.
And no, I wasn't always spoiled, even though, contrary to popular belief, people think I'm always spoiled. Because I'm youngest. I don't think that's true.
It is. Hello, beautiful people. I am super excited because I'm here with my other sister.
Hi.
And this is episode 2 of Sister Conversations. In this episode, again, you are going to be getting to know my sisters and my family, and it's going to be really cool. So, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Let's do it.
First, what is your name?
My name is Crystal Joy Kelly.
Yeah. Crystal Joy. For the longest time, I didn't realize that was her entire first name. I just thought it was like her middle name.
Everyone thinks it's my middle name. They're like, no. Crystal Joy is the first name. I have a middle name and then a last name. And they're like, oh, so you have all 4 first names? Yes. Yeah, they're all 4 first names, technically.
Okay. Who is older and who is younger?
So I'm the baby. I'm the youngest of 5. She's 3 years older than me. Yeah.
I'm the older sibling.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What do you like about your sister?
I like how social you are and how selfless you are. So you're very much, you can be social, put you in the middle of any city, any town, and you'll be fine. And then also, like, you're very caring and aware of other people's feelings and how they might take something that someone said, or, just really thinking about someone else. So that's what I think.
Oh, thanks. There are a lot of things that I like about you, but I like that you're very direct, and that you're honest, and I like that when you have fun, you have fun. Mm-hmm. And I like that you're always willing to try something, like whenever you're somewhere new or different, you don't really shy away and are like, this is my box, this is all I'm going to do. You're like, sure, I'll give it a go. Like, yeah, I really like that about you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, what do you dislike about your sister? Me.
Dislike. How long you leave your dishes in the sink for? But that's kind of the only thing. I'm trying to think, no, because, you do come back for them, but for me, I'm like, clean it up now, and you're like, well, I'll just get later, I'm going to reuse this pot. And it's like, yeah, there are other people in this house, so do it now. Doesn't matter. I think that's really the only, big dislike point of, God, these dishes every single time. But
okay.
if it works for you, so fine.
We also don't live together, so it's fine.
That works too, yeah.
But I'm going to be consciously aware now. Okay. Should we live together in the future, I am consciously
dishes
aware.
out of the sink every night, good to go.
Yes. Okay, what do I dislike about you? I think this one is a double-edged sword because sometimes it is very much needed and other times you just do it and I'm like, oh, and it's when you come home from being on deployment or being out with your friends or whatever because we don't live together. Mm-hmm. So you'll come home and you're like, okay, you need to do this, and this is not your house.
Yeah, you told me that before too.
Oh, it irks me so bad. You've got much better at it though. But that, drives
She's like,
me
I'm
nuts.
over it. I'm over it.
Yes, that I'm like.
Well, was there ever a time where I came in and did that and it actually was good? I'm glad that she did that.
I think when we have large family gatherings and there's a lot of fun, but there's also an element of chaos, you're really good. That tends to be really good because then when it's time to clean up or for the kids to settle down, it's very much like everyone has an instruction, get this done, I'm not taking any crap.
Yeah.
And it is good. That's why I said it's a double-edged sword.
But not for everybody.
But when you just come home, I'll pick you up from the airport, you're like, hey, Mom, hi. So you didn't want to clean the dishes? Welcome to my house.
There's a little more conversation between those 2 sentences, but it is pretty soon when I walk in, I was like, oh, there's dishes in the sink.
But it goes beyond that. I think sometimes it just is if there's clutter, dishes in the sink, or if somebody does something that irks you, you're like, so you just gonna go pretend? You have trouble getting words out because you're so irritated. I'm like, we don't care.
Yeah. That is very true. Yeah.
Okay. All right. What annoys you most about your sister?
I think sometimes when you like, if something's bothering you, you'll bring up, like, why you're bothered and what's going on, so we'll talk about it, and then we'll be done, or at least we think we'll be done talking about it, and then, like, you'll circle back to where you started and keep going in a different way, and it's like, well, we get it. But you're upset, and we apologize, or we hear you and, like, acknowledge why are we starting over. I think that's the only thing.
You know what's so funny about that? Oh, see, it's that similarity thing, because what irks me about you is when you ask the question, it's the same question, but you ask it, like, 4 different ways, yeah. And I'm like,
to get to the good answer, get to the root answer.
I gave you the answer the first time. And so it's funny that, like, you ask questions that way, and then I explain things that way. And we're both like, but we got it the first time.
Yeah.
Noted. What is your favorite memory with your sister?
Oh. Favorite memory? I would say we went to Big Bear. So that was really fun. Like, even though, you know, like, Joanne was there, a girlfriend of mine, but I think we still had a good time. Especially, like, seeing you walk with, like, your little jug of water in your head. You had your little, like, Walgreens bag or something like that, a little plastic bag, and you're like, all right, when we're off. And it's like, I gotta get your nail back for your birthday or something. Like, we can't let you be coming around with, like, a jug of water in your head, like, you're coming back from the fields or something. Like, yeah.
So everyone is, like, fully caught up on what happened.
She's gonna tell us it's gonna be very dramatic.
Duh. So we go up to Big Bear. So we wanted to, like, get away, go to the mountains, hang out, go up to Big Bear, and we had a miscommunication, a big one. And what made it, like, even bigger was her friend Joanne was like, hey, we should go to the hot springs. And in Colorado, from where the hot springs are, there are a ton of hot springs here, but the more well-known ones, there are hotels, and you can literally take, like, a paved pathway to the hot springs. Like, you can walk from your hotel to the hot springs and back in some flip-flops. I thought it was like that. It was not. It was about a 4-mile hike one way, and which I was not expecting. And so Crystal and Joanne have, like, their little backpacks, and they have, like, all this water and some snacks, and I'm like, well, how long are we staying there? And they're like, well, not too long, maybe a couple hours. I'm like, you guys are kind of packing for real, for real. So I was like, well, I'm going to bring a book, and it should be okay, because I'm thinking it's literal walking distance, not a hike. Anyway, we get there. I realize it's a hike. I have, like, a gallon of water, thank God, that I got when we stopped by, like, this little gas station convenience store, and that was it.
And so to be clear, we even back through the text messages a while ago, and I said, hey, we're looking at these hikes to do 1, 2, and 3 or something like that. And then you responded, we picked which one, and I was like, cool. Mentioning again, it was a hike, not a trail, not a path, not
have receipts.
A hike. So in my mind, a hike is you
she didn't
get
say
your
a hike.
back together, you have some snacks, you have water, sunglasses, you got a hat on. You know, like, you're ready for a hike.
She lives in a very different world than I do. I do not like doing any of that, whether I'm from Colorado or not. That is not my jam, and I know it.
I know it's not your jam, but when I said hike, I figured you would have known.
But here's the thing:
hike, not a trail,
I said no
walking, like,
to a hike, and you were like, "Well, here's this on a trail." And in my life, in my world,
trail is something different than hiking.
It is paved.
Hiking, no, there's no trail that is paved. I'm pretty sure there's a quote about, like, go where,
ladies and gentlemen, we both
create
speak
your own
English
path instead of, like, one that's already been paved. There's a quote that talks about
that quote has nothing to do.
It's just, it talks about
bottom line, the two of us realized we speak the same language, but we come from 2 very different worlds.
Yes.
It was a hot mess, and I looked ridiculous.
Yeah. You didn't look that bad. It was more like, I could just tell, like, you were over it.
Would you trust your sister to choose a spouse for you?
Yes.
Wow.
I would, yeah.
That's so cool, because I'm like, you're already engaged.
Well, I mean, like, if I wasn't engaged, I think, yeah, 100% I would. Because, like, you know the kind of guy that I typically date, you know about, like, the spiritual and religious aspects, make sure we're on the same page. There's a lot of little things that, like, add up that I think he would catch talking to someone. Yeah.
I think you and I would have to have more conversations.
She's like, no.
That's not what I said.
No, I would not.
That's not what I said. Because with you and Vanessa, I feel like that's not really something, like, I'm not like, I'm looking for this type of guy and I want this, and, like, I'm very, like, that's something that like I've really prayed about and gotten a lot of clarity on. And so like we would just have to have a lot of clarity, because the last time you tried, you were like, but he drives a Volvo.
Yeah, but
is he a good person? Like, is he family oriented?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm like,
Is
there's
there more
so
than
many...
just a car that he drives that you can get
right.
with? Yeah.
No, granted, you were in university and you were like...
Oh, yeah, I don't even remember that first motivation thing.
Exhibit A.
Yeah.
So...
yeah, no. Now, yes, you could probably trust me. Back then, no.
Yeah. Okay. Would you trust your sister to look after your children?
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
All right. What was your biggest insecurity as a teenager?
My teeth. I've always had things with my teeth that they're never wide enough, they're never bright enough. Before Invisalign, I felt like they weren't straight all the way and like kind of brought in, so I didn't have like a buck tooth thing going on. And ever since then, I mean, they're just always worried about my teeth being wide enough and straight enough, and yeah.
That is like so crazy to me, because I think you have some of the whitest teeth ever.
Oh, thank you.
And like your teeth are just like, your teeth are what the commercials want people's teeth to look like before editing.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like your teeth, like
I tried so hard.
they edit to make people's teeth look like how yours are naturally. Smile. These are her teeth. Like that to me is so wild.
And I've had like a lot of coffee, a lot of like red wine, so I just am like, yeah, I'm very aware of it. So
yes.
Yeah. What about you?
My skin. It's always been my skin, and I think because it like, obviously, I mean, having eczema, and then my body like gets rid of things through my skin. My skin gets really easily irritated, and so that's always been like a really hard thing for me. Okay, what is one thing...